Welcome to Invite Sent. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Bubba Getter. I'm so glad you're here. This is an online live streaming show where we play video games and interview people. Bubba Getter here, once again, Executive Director, Varsity Esports Foundation, an ambassador for D&H Distributing, esports ambassador, as well as a college esports ambassador for CSMG, Collegiate Sports Management Group. I'm pumped. This is the first time we've actually had a stream with 3 people. And we're going to play a game that I've put in tons and tons of hours playing. Let me see. If I could say a number, it would be about 3 hours or less, maybe less, 2 hours or less playing this game. My kids have played this more, and they've only played it 3 times or so. So I'm excited because I got some really good guests, some former college coaches who kind of still are coaches, who are coaches, as well as just professionals and experts in the esports industry and gaming industry. First, I'm going to bring in Mr. Billy Howard. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for being here. This is exciting.
Thanks for having me. It's first time ever for me being on here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Don't shake your head when I'm playing, and hopefully you can coach me, sadly, because I need it.
Hey, coaches are going to coach. That's what we're going to do today. It'll be a fun time.
All right. And Mr. Logan Hermes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Bubba?
Did I do it wrong?
No, that was fine.
I did it right. Boom. Dab. Well, you guys have been warming up on a couple games. I have got the greatest job right now to be playing some video games while talking to some really cool people. I'm gonna wait till you guys get out of your game because you have another game. But I'm gonna ask you questions while we're playing, and while you're playing, and I'm gonna pull up my page and mess around with my really cool truck car that I made. So first off, while you guys are playing, is there any shout outs you want to say to anybody on the stream right now that may be watching, maybe from your companies or any hellos? Logan, any hellos to anybody?
All right. Yeah, you caught me while drinking water. No, I want to shout out to obviously our whole D&H gaming components team. Got hired in March, so being able to kind of really go from a collegiate coach atmosphere to more of a B2B, kind of understanding the process behind. I know when I was a coach, getting emails going, "Hey, do you want to buy this product?" And they spelled esports wrong, and they had a different template, and they were just not catered to what that experience looked like. And being able to actually be at a top North American distributor working with those resellers and saying, "Hey, this email probably isn't the best thing you should send, and here's why." It's a nice transition. Nice. And so big shout out to our D&H team there.
Well, I think we're going to have some fun today talking about a few things, because I definitely, last time I interviewed you, Billy, a couple weeks ago, I was trying to get some rock the boat stuff out of you. So hopefully we do that today. It's not like this isn't a too crazy of a stream, but any shout outs at Generation Esports or any esport teams you can think of?
Yeah, everyone at Generation Esports. Special shout out to Ashley Jones, Coach AJ from Park University, now working at NACE. She said she's going to be tuning in today. So if you're here, hope you're here.
Awesome. Okay, so we are going to play a little Rocket League. How's the game going?
I got 12 seconds left.
Okay, 12 seconds left. Good. So I'm going to join in with you guys. I always like to jump right into the game and the action, because there are plenty of LinkedIn interviews out there where it's just a bunch of people talking and with their faces. And let's not do that. Let's bring in the gameplay. So if you're friends or you're out there watching, we're going to play some Rocket League. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. I'm going to be the boomer in this situation, but you guys go ahead and... Who's the party leader? Somebody starts... Does my car look cool, first of all?
It looks great.
Dude, look at your... Okay, who's the blue hatchback?
That'd be mine. Got the Fennec going.
Your wheels are transparent?
Yeah. Titanium white Dracos. Very, very nice wheels.
You said one word that I knew. And then, Logan, your wheels have some amazing Asian artwork and literature
I'm pretty sure there was a Lunar New Year event a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We got these from, yeah.
And then what's happening? Is this like a red matrix happening on your car here?
Oh yeah, no, it's actually got it. It's the capable Paragon decal. So when you get to a point, Bubba, after you play this game for Check's Watch, 2 hours, you'll start earning these decals.
So I'm going to let you in on the one coach secret that I'm going to let you in on today. The only thing that matters in Rocket League is how good you look. It doesn't matter how good you play. It matters how good you look. If you have a good, cool car, you're rank 1. That's all that matters.
That's what I've heard.
Actually,
I've heard the kids say that.
Supersonic just means you have a cool car.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting a match. All right, first of all, what game, Logan, did you enjoy playing the most as a kid? Ready to go.
Oh, I enjoyed playing as a kid. I love playing Pokemon Emerald. That was one of the best games ever made. I'll go for this because it really encompassed like the trifecta of what you saw in like Pokemon Emerald later. And then obviously I got really into League of Legends, which got me into casting, which got me into coaching, and I guess that's why I'm sitting on this here podcast today, though.
Oh no, they're getting closer to our goal.
That's
their goal.
Yeah, let's get it. Oh no, they're getting close to our goal. Obviously, I almost hit it. Okay, so all right. What about you? What was your favorite game growing up, Billy?
So I was a big Madden player all throughout my years. For the longest time, I thought that's what esports was. Then I got converted when I started playing League of Legends. But yeah, that's really where I got my start in competitive gaming. It was Madden 2006, actually. So
Madden 2006?
Yeah.
Nice. What was your go-to play that you would run?
Oh, I loved Flood. I loved just getting everyone on one side of the field, going opposite side, and just everything was wide open.
So,
had so much fun with it.
Would you like QB run on the left side or what, on the weak side? Or
QB run or hit the running back on a wheel route out to the left-hand side, and yeah, it was always a fun time.
That's awesome. Well, I think I've almost gotten close to the ball once. Just a reminder to all those out there who are watching, I am on keyboard and mouse, and I have gotten made fun of multiple times already this week. But who cares? I'm having fun. Okay, I missed it. Okay.
There's a pro player that plays on keyboard and mouse.
There is one.
There's one.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it again.
I would say that when it comes to Madden 2008 with Steve Young on the cover.
Yes.
That was like QB run. You want to run as a QB? That was one of the first times in Madden that was widely accessible.
Yeah.
Just because of the quarterback he was.
I'm just W keying the whole time. How about that? Oh my.
Only way to play.
Only way to play. Okay, so Doom Slug has gotten 2 goals on us, maybe?
All right, easy. We got to let him.
We're doing awesome.
It's a warm-up. We have a full hour.
No, games are 5 minutes as long as
look at
he's
healthy. He's got fruit. Okay, I'm going to stay back and play D.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So tell me about growing up and Logan and... Actually, it was funny. You and I had some funny conversations today, all about some stuff we didn't know about each other, which was cool. And tell me about, like, growing up and video games and the acceptance of that. Was there any issues ever with family or?
Oh yeah, no. I think
shoot it.
Will.
Oh yeah.
Good shot.
Nice shot.
Let's watch that tasty replay.
Do what?
I mean, first of all Star and tasty replay, beautiful. But as we go into childhood, I think we all kind of remember other things. Hey, can you just pause the game? And the answer is no. I just got into League of Legends because my friend said it was a cool game. And the answer is no. And it was one of the first times that I realized that this is going to be a problem, right? This is going to be something that will cause some dissonance between kind of parents considering it.
I hit it. Almost shot. Oh, bad shot.
But other than that, it was very much, I still did football and basketball in high school. And, I worked on track and did golf. And that's just because I went to a small town school in, North Dakota.
Yeah.
Whereas I could do all those things in speech and debate and, have those experiences.
I was in front of it.
As when it comes to games, it was definitely this has to be a leisure because this can't be a job. I think that resonates with a lot of professionals out there in gaming right now. don't want to do a change. That's safe.
Okay. Billy, how about you? How was family accepting of nice shot? Of
Yeah,
games
so
coming up?
I was kind of raised in a household where my parents were an older generation. They're actually my grandparents, and so I don't think they really knew exactly. They were always just, "Hey, you staying out of trouble, so who cares?" type of deal. Um, and even now today, when I talk to my dad, it's just like, "Hey, yeah, I do all this really cool stuff with college esports, and I've been a coach for all this time, and I still don't know if he fully understands what it is.
Sure.
He understands the college portion of it, obviously, and the competition, but really what it comes down to is, hey, it made him happy, so
Yeah.
go for it.
Okay. All right. So thinking about, yes, I hit the ball. College esports. Run me through your first. What was your first kind of gaming gig that wasn't coaching? Was there anything before that? Let's go, Billy. Any non when you weren't coaching college sports before coaching college sports? What happened in gaming? Was there a job you're working, or was there interning, or was there tournaments you're helping out with?
So I played Madden pretty competitively. Played online, a lot of online leaderboards was a lot of what I did before. But then it was like 2014, and I had just I scored these.
Nice.
I had ended up I'd actually dropped out of college, moved back home, and the local gaming org that was at the University of Northern Iowa, they go, "Hey, we're looking to sign up and compete against other colleges." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool. I want to have something to do with that." And like, "Well, you're not a student, so you actually can't." So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? So that's how I got into coaching. But before that, it was just strictly online play.
Okay, nice. I that wasn't my fault, by the way. That was no, that was
it was
all my
right?
fault.
That was the lag. Yeah.
I got sniped.
Oh
yeah.
No,
Logan, what
that's
about
a
you?
really good question.
Any job? Any other things before coaching in gaming?
Yeah, I casted Amateur League of Legends in Europe for
What?
2 years. Yeah, like when I say amateur, I mean the actual amateur league, not like EU Masters, right?
Okay.
And I was in grad school in Wisconsin. 7 a.m. You get up and you go cast a D1 Masters League of Legends match because they needed English casters. That's all right. And that was for Serenity Gaming over in EU. And everyone there was either speaking Dutch or German. And then there was one mod that was like, "Hey guys, remember to keep it English." And I kind of felt right. And every time you go cast, because I have a face for radio, they were like, "Oh, that was really good." And in my mind, I was like, "Was that really good because it was a good color cast, or was it really good because it was one of the only English casts that we have?"
Get that gold. Yeah.
It's close, but that's kind of what brought me into it. And then I did my master's in like student affairs. I don't want to be a hall director for the rest of my life at one point. And turns out like my master's was coming up, my thesis, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it on collegiate esports. I'm going to like how to start a collegiate esports program. And it's a 40-page document right there in 2019 of every research that was out there. And trust me, there's not a lot of research now.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of research then on collegiate esports. And so pulling resources from like kind of what Turkey's doing, obviously China. It was really kind of integral to kind of where I went to, and then getting my first job as a coach at that point.
Wow.
Are we exiting the main?
I don't know. I
just
know how
backed
this
us
works.
out. We'll queue it back
Perfect.
up.
I don't know how video games work. Okay, so hey, we almost had a game there. That's all right. I'll admit it was own goal on me, so that's why it wasn't a tie. Have you guys been watching? You guys watching Ted Lasso? You seen that show yet? Ted Lasso on Apple TV. No, Ted Lasso with Jason Sudeikis.
I heard it got a lot of awards.
Yeah.
I don't have Apple TV.
It's $5 a month. That's right, Apple TV. If you like to sponsor the stream for $5.99 a month, you can get Apple TV and watch Ted Lasso. Anyways, hashtag Apple TV. So, okay, hey, throw us another game. I'm ready to go. Wait. Yeah, okay, there we go. There was a time when you maybe didn't know about college esports. What was it like when you first heard about college esports for you guys? Let's go first.
I'll tap Billy for this one.
Yeah, I think for me it was like, wait, this thing actually exists, because it was all just clubs. There was like no really varsity programs. It was like RMU just offered the first ever college esports scholarship, and then 2 months later is when I had heard about it, and so it was very new. But it was just like, whoa, this is actually really cool. I want to be a part of this, and so that's how I got my start into it, and kind of what captured my passion for it.
Yeah. Nice.
No, mine was, because it happened, what was 2014 was, I don't know if scholarships are being offered, but it was the first like program.
Okay. Yeah, 2014.
Yeah, and I remember reading about it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool. But it wasn't ever apparent, right?
Shot.
Nice. Good. It was never really apparent until college. I was sophomore year.
Yeah.
And late sophomore year is when Overwatch dropped. Overwatch, great game. I think it was one of the best drops probably in kind of our modern age, besides the kind of the Halo.
Yeah.
Got that. I just centered it for them. Good, they're bad too. So the Overwatch scene for me was really good because it really introduced me into what amateur gaming was. Like you could start a small guild on your school or a team or a club, or more importantly, you could go do a regional event and you could be successful. And so I played a lot of Torbjorn, and eventually I got on the leaderboards. Right, I was like top 500 Torbjorn in North America.
What top five? What?
I was top 5. One of the characters in Overwatch.
Gotcha. I know. I'm sure I know that.
And that really kind of like drove me to want to work harder. And then I wanted to go to grad school. And then I was like, oh, I should probably focus on the grad school. But the passion was still there. Even when Owl came out, I just entered it.
How do you jump in the air like that? That was wicked.
And then I think it was Jamestown U, Josh Knutson, when he was still coach there. I'd known him from high school. And I was like,
okay.
I think I called him one day. I was like, Josh, how do I do what you do? It was before I wrote my thesis. And he's just like, I don't know. Like, he's just like, just ask around and get involved, try to do something. And for some people, it works like that. Others, the institution might not be as supportive. And you kind of have to roll with it regardless of where you are.
What was the question I asked?
When did you first get introduced to college?
Did you answer that, Billy, already?
Yeah. And actually, I can kind of expand on the Torbjorn point. Just a fun little story here. We played in Tespa, and we actually did on King's Row. We had already basically won the match. We did a 1v1 Torbhammer only on King's Row to attack, and we won it. And they applauded us on Twitter, like, shout out to this team for doing this. It was actually pretty fun, but it was like 2 top 500 Torbjorn players going against each other just in a 1v1 in Tespa. It was really funny.
I remember Tespa. I'm like an old man. I remember Tespa.
Back in the day. Speaking of some awesome things, you guys shout out to AJ again. She's here now. Hey, AJ. What do we need to know? What do we need to know about Ashley Jones, AJ, now with Nace? What do we need to know about her? Since we have all this time to embarrass her right now. Ready to go? Oh, I died.
I think the biggest thing is maybe not embarrassing, but it's definitely a great position for someone that's a good center that is going to work really hard for an organization that they're passionate about. On top of that, they're a giant dork, so it helps.
AJ's
in collegiate esports. Yeah.
You hear that? You have been called what you are, which you agree with, I'm sure, as we all do. We all are all nerds and dorks. Thank you, Connor Olney, for bringing back the word nerd. Okay.
I don't think their nerd ever left the lexicon.
What's not the lexicon?
I don't think nerd ever left our vocabulary.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Right off the press. We're good.
This is me.
I think just to expand on that, it's the passion side of it. It's everyone in this industry has the drive and desire to make it better on a daily basis. Whenever you talk to Ashley, it's always that, hey, what are we doing? How can we make it better? She fits that perfectly. So I think it's a really great call and a really great move on both of them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of Ashley, she is one of the is one of the top coaches in collegiate sports, esports, and we will call it out again, as I did in the LinkedIn post. Who needs more white guys on stream for esports? But we did it anyways, and AJ will definitely be a guest on this show someday soon. I hope she can teach me some video game stuff and interview her about what she's doing at NACE. But we had Joni Kraut from Women in Gaming International last week, and here in actually 2 weeks we got, or maybe next month, we actually have Danielle Rourke from Dell Gaming. So pumped about that. Let's talk about some hard stuff. Okay, now that we're a couple games in, and I'm not doing very well, obviously. Why? Let's see. The Esports Awards nominations popped up yesterday, and I saw a ton of dudes, a ton of white and Asian dudes. Oh, good shot. What's wrong with our industry?
I mean, the big thing is, I had a section of my thesis about this. So don't worry, I'm gonna try and narrow this down. So obviously, it starts back from how these competitive games are marketed to me.
Oh no!
Right? Ooh. You know what? I should have never assumed Bubba would go on defense. I should have.
We'll have to teach him the lore.
Yep. Anyway, so never really marketed towards, especially women, or maybe the marketing not even was people's color oriented. Right? It was very like they know their demographic, which is kind of white male, and then when that demographic got in the space and kind of built up a quote-unquote industry experience, obviously with poor hiring practice included, it started building up individuals that had more experience and just a head start mentality, right? And that's something that we're very much at the end of, right? But now everyone's been hiring this type of people, or knowing that, hey, I have a connection here, and it's another white dude, right? I have a connection here, it's another white guy, right? And you don't really expand out of your bubble that much because no one's actively looking, right? Because we all, very much esports was like any other sport when it got started. It was like, oh, my connections are the only ones that matter. And now we're starting to realize, like, no, there's someone that's probably has the exact same amount of experience than you right now, even myself, right? That needs to be highlighted. And so it's really just breaking that barrier when you're setting up events, right? When you're actively going for this and not trying to treat it as like a diversity win. It is really looking for people that have that experience that don't fit that same mold we've been doing for the last 10 years gaming.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the other side of it too is really that it's what's forward facing and what happens behind the scenes. There's two different sides of it. The ones that are behind the scenes, they don't get the credit they deserve, and it's more of a how do I say this appropriately? It's more of an issue than anyone wants to talk about. Illinois State just became the first ever collegiate team to win contenders. Female coach, I'll be honest, I forget her name, and that's kind of bad of me, but it's something that wasn't talked about. I saw a lot of the credit, and this wasn't any fault of the program, but there was a lot of credit on social media. Going to, the players put in so much work, and it's like, well, they have a really great coach that led them there, and they wouldn't have been in that position without him. So it's just getting the credit where it deserves to go, and something that we need to make better practice of.
And to that point, you never, like, I know I did a whole marketed towards white men, but there's always been women in the scene.
Yeah.
Always. I think one of the biggest examples that's well known is like Frost Guerin and who went to the LPL. I forget her name. She works for EG right now. She was also like an assistant coach in the LCS for a while. Moser.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Like she's been there, right? From broadcasting talent, you've seen it, right? With Shocks. And it's been there, but when it comes to actually showing up for it, it's just the scene really hasn't adapted, or it's chosen the same person 12 times.
Yes.
And it's good, but it's also really digging down into what is community or what's popular, right?
Well, just even to bring up the Esports Awards again, not that this is some sort of review show or whatever, it just made me think, speaking with Joni Kraut the other day about her stance on, they have a no woman, no panel type policy. Like, hey, if there's no women or diversity on panels like these that happen, then you're going to particularly, have something to say about it, right? And so yesterday on that Esports Awards list, I was like, oh, cool. I actually like some of these women who are here, but as I look back at the years before, it's almost the same women who are being nominated again. And like, it frustrated me even more that there's not, it's still too much testosterone boys man's game type feel, and there's so many men being propped up when women aren't. And I don't know. I'm just trying to be. Hopefully, we can all help and be allies, but I will never understand what it's like, right? But gosh, it just was frustrating to see that.
It's hard to make it somewhere, and by make it, I mean like see yourself as like I'm doing good in this field, and then completely disregard half or 3/4 of a population that also exists in that field that's not being highlighted, even though they're doing similar work. I do want to shout out. There's this on Twitter. I don't actually know her actual name, but her handle's I think Space Ghost, and she does League of Legends podcasts that just describe the game, right? So if you're on your way to work and you want to listen to a League of Legends match, and that's something that was needed. I mean, I thought about that a long time ago. I was like, oh, I think that would be really cool, but I never acted on that, and it's become very successful.
Yeah,
and that's something that, as we start to see that rise of, hopefully we can maybe ignore the novelty of the fact and actually start celebrating the successes of it beyond the fact that they're women. I mean, look at the pro teams that are having all women Valorant teams, right?
Yeah.
If they can take a moment and go, hey, these Valorant teams are good. Got one. Yeah, let's go. And more into the like, hey, this competition is legitimate and this is competitive, and you should be watching this. That's when we start to get to that normalization, and it's not just in video games, right? You have the same problem with soccer. So,
Okay, well, now let's move on to something not as light.
Oh yeah,
not as light. So on our website, the Varsity Esports Foundation, we talk about there being 2,000 colleges out there that have some form of recreational or higher college esports program. Dang it.
I was like, I don't know if you can say that.
What? And I think there's also, from what I see in NACE and I see in other platforms like LFG Group, we've got about 100 to 200 schools that have some sort of recognition with their school when it comes to some form of higher competition outside of just led by students. And I think some people have used the word varsity. I'm trying to see if I can get Billy a little hyped up here, see if he's paying attention. Some people have used the term varsity for that designation. But in your opinions, what constitutes a varsity esports program in this climate right now? Let's just say the United States. What do you think, Billy?
I know Billy has words.
Couple things with that, first of all, saying varsity and then esports is almost redundant in a sense, right? Because either you're an esports program or you're a gaming club. Esports program denotes that you are, sanctioned by the school, you are funded by the school. They recognize it as legitimate, competition.
Okay.
A gaming club doesn't delegitimize the competition aspect of it, but it just means the school doesn't place the value on it. And so, in order for a school to sit there and say, hey, we have a varsity esports program, and then turn around and say, we don't have designated space on campus, we don't have coaches for the games, we don't have, what is essential for player development and player growth. That's not varsity, that's not esports, and a lot of colleges think it is because of, just things that have happened in the industry of, hey, it's a buzzword. They want to associate, hey, we're cool, we have esports, come to our college. And it's not healthy. And what it does is it really sets a lot of false expectations for the future generations if we don't nip it in the bud now. And so that's one of the things that going forward, I really want schools to be aware of saying, hey, if you don't provide, XYZ as a minimum, it's not a varsity esports. It's not varsity. It's not esports. None of that experience, what you're selling is what you're selling.
Yeah.
And so just being clear and making sure that people have that understanding and that notion of what it actually is, that message is so crucial.
Okay. So there's a missing component when you're saying, what I hear is varsity is if a school is engaged with helping out with facility and helping out with recognition beyond just, hey, glad you got a bunch of people together, there may be the ability to call a program something higher than just recreational or intramural, or for that matter, a club. At what point would we say they move from club to designated under the school's banner?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to come from support staff. Having a director of a program and then having per game coaches, I think, is a great way to help with that. And then getting people in that actually understand the scene instead of, oh, we have our IT guy that works 40 hours a week doing IT and then also is doing esports on top of it. And, the people that are currently doing that, they are saviors. They are saints. I don't know how they do it because the dedication that they have to put in, and maybe their school is saying, hey, you have to do 10 hours a week. I think anyone that's worked in the college industry knows and understands that that is just not reasonable. And it's these unreasonable expectations that really have kind of led to burnout in the industry. I know just within this last year alone, 7 to 8 coaches that I've really respected, gotten very close with, and had a chance to work with, they left because it just wasn't feasible for them. The money wasn't there. The support wasn't there. And it's embarrassing is what it is. And so we as college esports need to do better. And it starts with the colleges putting the understanding out there of, okay, what do we want? What is our goal? And let's stick to it.
Okay. What is an average salary here? What is an average payment per year? I shouldn't say salary. Payment per year for a college. We're talking a level like Boise State and UCI, that maybe being the highest here in the States compared to a stipend 20-year-old who is helping out. What's the range there?
Yeah, I mean, the range for those programs that really take it as hey, this is a legitimate, competition and we're going to put funding into it. I know Wichita State actually just opened up a director position for $60,000 a year,
Wow.
And then there are some colleges that are at $3,000 for an entire year. And it's just one of those situations that it really depends what priorities the school put on their program.
Okay. Logan, jump in here. The idea of let's just compare to sports here. What's going on with traditional sports making millions of dollars for a head coach compared to why we're not seeing maybe a bump in pay for college esports coaches? What's missing?
A big missing piece is obviously there's a giant history component to it all, right? I remember being a coach and going, hey, you know what? I need someone that can coach Rocket League, right? And getting, well, you just need to recruit. And I'm like, okay, great, but in the interim, right? I need someone, you volunteer, right? Maybe they get paid X, Y, Z, that can do that. And the answer was no. You know, you should do that, but you should spend 90% of your job recruiting. And the answer is this title that we have, you know, maybe not Rocket League, but like League of Legends, Overwatch, they go through patch notes, they go through gradual changes, right? Because the IPs, the owners have, you know, they have to keep the game fresh. They're not thinking about a collegiate competitive scene when they're patching their game. And so you think about that and you go, oh, so my salary is based on how much I recruit. Cool.
Okay.
Great. That means that if I have a good fundraise, institution supported program, I will get paid more. And the answer to a lot of that is there are coaches out there that are recruiting. There are coaches out there that are creating a sustainable fundraise program, and their salaries aren't great, so, right? They might get accolades. They might, be in and out of an athletics department or a student affairs department, because a lot of schools, they don't understand that if you're going to put something under athletics, it needs to be funded the way that you'd fund track and field or golf, right?
Okay, right.
You need individual coaches for the individual events. And
You can't have your golf coach coaching soccer. You would never do
really
that. So
can't.
why would you do it for esports?
yeah,
I mean,
and
like that's why there's pitching coaches and other coaches along the staff, right?
and so you'll see, because I worked at a D2
Nice.
institution. That was really good.
Nice shot.
Anyway, but you'll see, like I worked at a D2 institution, and yeah, maybe the staff wasn't, to a D1 institution level at the traditional athletics department, but I was working there under athletics, and I was like, oh, this would be so much easier if I wasn't under athletics, because then I could ask for more support. Then you have a bunch of students intimidated by, the athletics banner and the amount of forms they have to fill out. When they want to just understand how to get involved first, and not having that support because of, red ticker tape, which flows to coaching, it flows to admin on do I have to sign these forms? What does this mean? Why do I have to go get my physical? Right? Because the school really hasn't done a good job marketing themselves. And as we build out into traditional sports here, your football team is marketed. It is like, hey, recruitment is up, right? Here's a Twitter post from the main account, right? Oh, hey, you just signed someone? Cool. The marketing department and the comms department wants to know, right?
Okay, right.
It was like pulling teeth when I was a coach to say, hey, we just started a new season, or like, hey, this is League of Legends. I want to do this X, Y, and Z, and they're like, that's just not in our strategy. And I'm like, okay, well,
I got shot.
Nice, I believe in you. Institutions have to pick. They have to pick, is this in our strategy, or is this something that we have on campus to promote that we have extra things, but we're not going full board on it? And it ties back to this, is this a club program, or is this an actual varsity program that you're going to call a varsity program?
And so the other side of it then too, on top of that, is how it's marketed to the general public.
Yep.
Football, we'll take Kirk Ferentz, for example. I'm from Iowa. $6 million a year for his salary, right? He maybe wins half his games every year. Not an Iowa fan, so I can say that.
There you go.
But average at best, right? And that's what he does. And so when you look at college esports compared to traditional sports, you're not getting 100,000 people tuning in to watch a Sunday night Overwatch game. You are getting that when Penn State goes to play Iowa or something like that, because it's the advertising. It is the big money that's behind there, the viewership. Until we get a better infrastructure for players to be developed, we're not going to be able to get that, because no one wants to go watch a varsity program and has recruited in silver level players to play in a primetime matchup. No one wants to watch
or nationwide, like you have a D3 school going against Temple, right? Temple's club program, which is a good program. And then you're just like, why didn't we win? We have a varsity name, or why aren't we better than them? We have one coach, and the answer is like, well, you have $20,000 in scholarship, and your tuition per year is $50K. Like, what did you think was going to happen, right? And I think it's schools getting over the novelty fact. Right? Esports isn't a novelty. Esports stopped being a novelty 2-3 years ago at the school.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to go find one, there are clubs right now that are going to do far better with your talent, and they're probably at a state institution that is cheaper to go. Right? And a student has to weigh that as a coach. Going to high schools and being like, hey, this is opportunity. This is something that we can really build on, and we can really use your expertise as a good high school player. They'd be like, oh, yeah, well, this state school pays less, and you don't offer full rides.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And the answer is like, you're right. I can't deny that logic, right? I can tell you all of our amenities. I can sell the school any which way, but that's really what it boils down to when it comes to, how do students approach your program, and then obviously to the marketing. How is it going to be marketed so that a student, when you go to their school and you say, all right, well, you're saying no now, but when they're on social media later, are they seeing this advertised and going, you know what, I'm going to rethink that decision. I'm going to go, reach out on Discord. I'm going to, reach out to that contact information. And surprisingly, there are some schools that struggle because their coach now has to be a social media director. Their coach now has to be a marketer. This coach now has to start LinkedIn and make reels. And the answer to that is,
oh no.
The answer to that is that's too much. That's like on top of everything that you have to do, and then you're getting paid less than 40 a year, depending on location. I think that's average across the nation. Like if you average everything out, it's less than 40 a year to do everything under the sun, and then still think that you're gonna be successful, or you're gonna rise to a different level where a school will then think, oh yeah, you can have one assistant coach, right? And it's just the unrealistic expectations of, I know there's documents, I think, put out by NACE a long time ago that was like, here's a coach's salary, right? Yeah. But nowhere in there was like, hey, you're also going to need like 5-6 more coaches. But honestly, at that time, it was like, we want to make this accessible and feasible to an institution. So like, you can see it both ways, but esports moves a lot faster than any other game that you're going to add to your institution. And so when a coach says, hey, we need this, it needs to be taken seriously at an institutional level.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. You can keep playing. I want to talk about Generation Esports Collegiate, and I want to talk about D&H. And we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors, so we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Man, did we win a game earlier, or we were tied and we lost?
I didn't own goal in OT. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Was that own goal?
I would never.
Just went past this.
I think we won one, and I think we've lost a few.
We'll say we won one. Well, let's win another. This last part. First, let's go into Generation Esports Collegiate. Tell me what's going on there. Tell me what we need to know. What's the future of Generation Esports Collegiate?
Yeah, so we've actually been kicking off a few fall seasons across the nation. Been setting up for close to 160 colleges in the regular seasons across 12 different titles. I think 19 different tournaments, if I'm not mistaken. And it's been insane. 4,000 regular season matches across the NJCAAE, the Peach Belt Conference, and the East Coast Conference as well as doing a crossover event between the East Coast Conference and the Peach Belt for League of Legends. That's going to be coming up in October. And then we're also doing a Madden Open as well. And it's going to be open to any member of the ECC to just come out, play some Madden, and have a good time, be a single elim bracket. So that's really what we've been up to as of late. Oh, I scored this.
That was good. I was right behind you.
I was playing defense.
Yeah, no,
make sure.
Of course.
I was staying over here, make sure nothing comes.
Yeah, Bubba was back. Do it like he's upside down.
What's all the acronyms you just said, by the way, and the initialisms? Go ahead. ECC and
yes, the NJCAAE National Junior College Athletic Association, their esports division. The ECC, which would be the East Coast Conference, and then the Peach Belt, PBC, they're central, obviously, in the Peach Belt. So it's a fun time. A lot going on with that. Keeps me very busy on a
Mhm.
day-to-day basis, but I love it.
What was the initial drive to really push into the collegiate space with Generation Esports, who really is the leader in high school and middle school now? What drove you? Was there pipeline? Was there just desire? Why
I think it's a lot
college
of
now?
it's a lot of pipeline. It's getting students the opportunity who are competing in the high school esports league to then, move on and play at the next level. And so what better way to get those students visibility than having colleges also competing on the same platform right next to them, and really gives us a special chance to showcase those students and to put on recruiting events.
Yeah.
At the same time as then getting them, getting coaches and establishing the networking between college coaches and high school coaches for multiple reasons. A, for the student development, hey, we have three kids who are looking to go to college. What would you look for as a college coach? That was one of my questions I got all the time when I was coaching. Hey, what are colleges looking for? Because we want to make sure the students are prepared. So what Generation Esports now has to offer is that's all in one place. And then the other aspect of it is just the simple fact of, the networking between the coaches on, setting up events in their local area, keeping kids local.
Okay.
That was one of the big things when I was in Iowa. I would help set up high school programs and say, hey, this is what you should be looking for. This is what that process really looks like going forward. Generation Esports and the High School Esports League have partnerships now that are really bringing that to the forefront. Partnering with NASEF, working with Dr. Christy Custer, and I
Michael
forget
Russell?
the other author's name, but they just did a brand new book that came out based
Russell.
around curriculum.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's really what the big drive is. It's just increasing student opportunity and engagement, and really helping them get an education and further themselves in life.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's fun to see what's going on, and really just I like to learn and listen and see what's happening in all parts of the pipeline, and I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your passion, and that you have been in the thick of it, right? Been in the thick of coaching in this space.
They call me the old man these days, and I don't know how I feel about it, but
Yeah,
I think it's a good title to
like
have.
7 years, 8 years. How long you been in this space?
It was September 2014 when I first coached my official game.
That really is ancient
Yeah.
in esports, the new age esports industry, right? And especially college. Yeah.
How many Wild Wests have you lived through?
All of them, I think.
All of the Wild Wests of collegiate esports? Yeah.
I like my friend James O'Hagan. He calls it like this. It's not like space race or what does he call it? Something about the space and galaxy. Instead of calling it the Wild West, like we're trying to just understand how to go through space or something. I don't know. Something with space, not the Wild West, because we use it a lot.
Yep.
We use it a ton.
Yeah.
It's
One of my favorite sayings with it is we're learning how to fly the airplane while free falling
right.
from 30,000
While
feet,
building it? Yep.
and while building it.
Yeah.
We're doing all three at the same time. But it's the passion from everyone in the industry of wanting to make this as good as it could be. That's what really drives it, and that's why I wake up every morning. I'm like, man, I get to work with some awesome people, building some really cool stuff, and helping students nationwide and even worldwide, to find what they want to do with their life. Because I'll be honest, when I got into coaching, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and this gave me a purpose. This is something that I woke up and I was excited about, and I want other students to have that opportunity on a day-to-day basis.
excellent. I love it. So AJ said some really good stuff in the chat about earlier about playing against Boise State. It was really a good experience. Tyler's been in the chat giving us some good stuff as well. Logan,
Yeah.
let's do some. I want you to tell me about D&H, what they do, what the D&H distributing is, what D&H Esports is, while also making sure you speak layman's terms to us outside the technology industry.
Yeah.
Tell me about what's going on.
Layman's terms. That's fun because I spent the first 3 months of this new position going, what is this? I used to be a coach. What is this? But yeah, no. So it's relatively simple to understand. If you've been a collegiate coach, high school coach, even, right? You've gotten an email from maybe you have a local mom and pop shop that wants to sell you the mice they have on hand, or monitors, or Micro Center, for example. and they're like,
I
we
helped-
were all
I helped
there.
on that. I
we
helped on
all
that.
got to that net.
I was close.
I remember being a coach and getting like, hey, do you want computers? And I'd been a coach for 2 years at that point, and I'd be like, no, we have those already.
Mm-hmm.
And the email would say, I see that you have a new program. No, it's not new, right? And I realized that the chain of what that looks like was muddled. There wasn't a lot of people that were selling, which we call resellers, right? People that were selling product from like Asus or Lenovo.
Nice.
They were reaching out to schools, and they still do it. You still have them in your inbox. If you're a coach watching this, it's in your spam, or it's in your blocked, right? Or you have a good relationship with them. But those good relationships were very few and far between. And so this position helps me educate those people on not only how to write an email, but what equipment is out in schools right now. What is building an arena look like in the collegiate space, right? And how to do that from a full-on marketing perspective. And so we have vendors come to D&H Distributing as a wholesaler, tech distributor, and say, all right, we don't know anything about EDU esports in North America and in Canada. What do we need to do? How do we need to position product, or how do we push this out to people that want to buy this? Because no one really has a strategy. And I mean, I guess when you look at that, I went from one Wild West to another Wild West, where people were like, we know gaming, we're selling gaming products, right? But they're selling gaming products to people that, were really excited about their dad helping their kids build gaming PCs. And now it's something totally different, where like, how do we add in STEM initiatives? And so D&H does the job of really talking to their customers, which are resellers, and saying, hey, this is what esports is, and this is why you should be interested, right? And then through that, you make that transaction of how do you get product where it needs to go?
Yeah.
And it's a long-winded answer to say that I'm on the back end trying to instruct other people on what are coaches doing these days, right? And staying in the in the market trend of the gaming industry for EDU esports. And that's something that I'm really passionate about.
Love it. All right, well, here's our last game. We won our one a second ago. Is there some buttons I should be knowing? I don't know. Okay. I see y'all like flying around the sky, and all I'm doing is jump and boost. Is there something else?
You have to hold your boost as you're like rotating your car. So it's like not like taking off an airplane. You got to pull back on the stick and hit your accelerator. So it's a lot like the same thing.
I feel like I'm always going forward. I don't have a I see you guys flipping in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you double tap, I guess you're.
I did that. I just see cooler things than I'm doing.
Yeah, you're on keyboard. I haven't played on keyboard and mouse since.
I haven't played on keyboard and mouse in a while.
release.
So, Bubba, I don't know what the spin on the car is. Because when you're pressing W, you want to tumble because you're going to go faster, right? Like if you're driving straight and you need to get to the ball and you want to get there before someone else, you're going to want to intermix boost with a roll, right? Or a quarter roll, technically.
A roll forward or a side roll?
A roll, well, it's technically
It's
one.
technically
It's a side roll and a roll forward. That might be
That's cool stuff. I'm learning all sorts of cool stuff right now.
Yeah. No, it's easy come. We stuff with defense.
So looks like we're getting skunked pretty easily here right now in the first minute. Schooled, I should say, not skunked.
It is comebackable.
It is true. That's true.
Dignitas came back from
I'll play defense here. Well, so as our last game here, what do you want people to know about you or what you're doing in the esports space? Let's start with you, Billy. What do you want people to know about? And what also recruitment and for players, what do you want them to know about?
Yeah, so the number one thing in this industry is everybody knows everybody, it seems like. It's a very small world, and when you really get into the thick of it, I'll take Connor Olney, for example. He's the commissioner of HSEL. I actually found out that I coached in his league from 2016 called the NCGA. I had no idea at the time that it was him. I had no idea who he was, but I remember, I played in this league, and I was just going back looking through some old historical data on my coaching career. And comes to find out that Connor was the one that was behind all that. So it's a very small world, and the contacts that you make will be people that you'll work with several times over.
Okay, yeah.
And so making sure that you're able to get that network out there. I know Bubba's a big person on LinkedIn.
I am a
Chase
large
DeWitt,
person,
for
yes.
example. He's like, you got to get a Twitter. You got to get a Twitter. You got to network on Twitter. And I was like, for the longest time, I'm like, no, that's silly. But you know, that's really, there's a lot of truth behind it. So making sure that you're making good contacts, connecting with people, and making sure that they know who you are and you know who they are and what they're all about. That's what's most important in this industry on a day-to-day basis.
Last bit of advice for how does a player who is really good at a esport or a game, I should say a title, how do they get recognized by a college coach? What were you looking for when you were recruiting?
Yeah, so I looked for three main things, right? I looked for, hey, I don't care what your rank is as a player. I always cared about, do you have team experience? I had several players that would come in, and they were top of the ladder, very, very gifted in solo queue, had no idea how to play within a team. They didn't play for the team, they played for themselves. And it's coachable, but right off the bat, I want someone who's going to be, hey, I'm here for the team. I'm going to do what the team needs because that's what's going to propel us to a victory. Those type of players will go very, very far in esports. The other things I look for, obviously, what is your attendance? Are you attending classes? Are you attending required practices? Are you accountable? That's really the second thing. And the last thing is, how do you take criticism? Is it I do it because this, or is it hey, that's a really interesting perspective. I will definitely take that into consideration. If you can be coachable, if you can be someone who is willing to work within a team, that will get you so far.
Amen to that.
I would add to that is,
Please.
as a lot of these coaches, if you're a student and you're listening to this, know that no one has officially coached, maybe a high school esports team, or maybe you might not have been on an amateur team and you really want to get collegiate. Again, rank doesn't matter. What would I say is, we know that the extra part of the coaching job is already teaching you how to be coached, and that's where those questions come in, right? How do you take criticism, right? How do you work as a team? Because at the end of the day, collegiate esports coaches have to start reinventing the wheel, whereas if you're a traditional football player, you played football in high school, you had a high school coach, right? You learn a lot of these things that they don't have to totally reinforce. You might still have to do it a little bit, but totally reinforce in collegiate. And you are starting from square one at some time. So, being coachable, being being accountable for your decisions goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, this was really good clippable stuff, minus my face as I'm like hitting the ball or getting scored on, and I'm gonna have to like blur out my reactions as you guys are giving really good advice for any
You gotta
clips.
put like emojis.
If you want a clip, there's one right there. I just put it on a silver platter for you. So
Boom, dab. All right. Lastly here, Logan, anything that you want to leave people with? We talk about recruitment. Is very good enlightening information from both of you, from college coaches like yourselves. Yes. Goo. Okay. The question is, any last bit of advice or information you want people to know about you or DNH?
Yeah, no, I'd say if you're, an active reseller or your mom and pop shop, you sell computers, in a small town or maybe even large city at this point, and you're like, I really want to get involved in a gaming scene. Being involved in a gaming scene doesn't mean you have to be involved in esports, right? It's really understanding that when we say esports, we're talking about a small sect of competitive players, and when we're talking about collegiate esports, it's even a smaller sect of those competitive players, just at a younger version, right? And so if you're wondering how to get involved in that scene, go to dnh.com/esports. We have a bunch of materials there. We work with HSCL on them as well, to really kind of get you in the know. And then obviously I'm gonna promote your esports provider certification. Get it in there.
Let's go.
That's the clip. That's
the walk off. Cut it off right now. You're done.
You're done.
Sorry.
Just make our cards blue so it looks like we're blue. All right, so I will say that if you are looking and you're not a collegiate coach, or maybe you're a vendor and you have a really cool product and you're like, hey, I really want to get this product out there into the arms of, collegiate athletes or coaches, right? We had a vendor say, hey, we have slips that make all of your electronics cold no matter what, right? From computers to phones to anything, and it's great for travel. I'm like, that's great, because you can use that for collegiate esports. And if you have a product that you want to go to market with that, D&H can logistically help you with that, as well as provide materials from our marketing agency that is very newly minted. So that's my little plug there, Bella.
Awesome.
Nice
Man.
goal. Nice.
I feel good. I feel good. I actually got a goal.
Do you understand why people play this game often?
I mean, yeah. I'm over here hitting R like I'm reloading my gun accidentally for some reason. I have no idea. Or C to crouch and oh shoot. Yeah, but no, this is a fun game. I see why people like it. I've known, I guess, but yeah, man. What a way to finish too. I got a goal. Feeling great. I feel like I'm on the top of the world. Thank you guys for letting me get my first goal and level 5. Oh man,
so close to that detail.
I know you guys get to head out for other things. I've appreciated you guys coming in and talking about the world of collegiate esports and things happening in everything that is gaming and esports. Love to have you guys back sometime together individually, play some other game, maybe some league or something, and get to know some more. But yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you guys to head on out. I know you got other things. I'm going to finish up the stream here, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Sounds good.
See ya.
All right, see y'all. Okay, man, that was great. We are done with the stream. Thank you so much for coming today to watch Invite Sent, where we play video games and we interview people at the same time. I don't think these two guys were too shooken up by my questions because they obviously play Rocket League quite a bit. But when it comes to most people when we play, they kind of gets pretty hard to do two at the same time. But these guys know what they're doing. So check out Coach Faust. Check out Logan. I can't remember Logan. What is your Twitter? If you're still he's not in there. Check out Logan and check out Billy on social media. Check out Generation Esports on the internet at generationesports.com or highschoolesportsleague.com or HSLGG. And check out D&H Esports, dnh.com. That's DANDH.com/esports. Take some of the certifications that are there. If you want to learn more about esports, check out the Varsity Esports Foundation, which we're going to have a commercial about the Varsity Esports Foundation right now. And I appreciate everyone. See you later.
Varsity Esports Foundation. Founded in December 2018, the Varsity Esports Foundation was created by a group of esports professionals. Our mission is to create an inclusive, safe, and aspirational network of gaming communities for all. The Varsity Esports Foundation is a 501c3 organization established to offer financial assistance to schools and to provide a pipeline for students to reach their potential through esports. We have 4 foundation goals. 1. Build a network of inclusive gaming communities. 2. Create scholarships for students within these communities. 3. Ensure a safe environment for all players. And 4. Promote gaming literacy across the ecosystem. The foundation has funds for a limited amount of assistance to support schools with league fees and/or computer equipment. For more information, please visit us at varsityesportsfoundation.org. Varsity Esports Foundation, a pipeline for students to reach their potential through esports.
What you have in store for the Empire?
You mind holding on a sec?
Yeah.
Yo, Mike. So what you think?
There's nothing more that we would like than to support all the high school players out there in esports, so we're in.
All right, man. I'll tell the team. We're going to Dallas.
Hey guys, just checking in, making sure you're getting close to our HQ.
Yeah, no, we're actually just about to pull up.
Oh, man, that's perfect timing. I was just about to head down to the lobby. I'll see you there.
All right, I'll see you in a sec.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's get out.